Alright, we've had this thing clamped up probably a couple of hours now, so I'm going to go ahead and pull all the clamps off and see what we got. I believe we're getting in pretty good shape. The next step in the process is going to be kerfing. These are strips that run around the perimeter of the top edge and bottom edge of the guitar, like so. And that's what the top and the back of the guitar get glued to. So we'll start that here in a second. Alright, as we start to glue the kerfing in, people use a couple of different ways to clamp the kerfing as they're gluing it. I see a lot of people, if they use regular spring type clothespins, they'll add a rubber band to it to get a little more tension. I don't do it that way. I use these guys. Pick them up at Office Max or something. The only drawback I see with these is, since the face is triangular here, when you clamp it, it kind of tends to pull it upward a little bit. So you just, if you're aware of that and just keep it down, it won't happen. I'm starting out on the back of the guitar. It doesn't really matter, I don't guess. On the back, you need to, on the back and the front, you leave the kerfing a little bit proud of the side of the guitar. That's because we're going to sand this whole surface of the guitar in a radius dish at some point. And the height of the kerfing on the inside of the guitar is going to be ever so slightly higher than the rim of the guitar itself. So you just need to leave just the slightest bit proud of the side. Even less than a millimeter is enough. You don't want to leave any more than you have to, because that's more you got to sand away, which is more work. As far as putting glue on it, you really don't need a lot of glue, but the more glue you put, the more mess you got to clean up. Like I just made a mess. I put too much. But there we go. And spread it. I really got a little sloppy here. It's not going to matter along the top, because like I say, we're going to sand that anyway. But I don't want a lot of glue coming out of the bottom part of the kerfing where it would show inside of the guitar. Again, if you'll take your finger and come along the edge at a 45-degree angle along the bottom edge, it'll prevent some of that squeeze out. So here we go. You want to butt it all the way up against the tail block and get the basic height you want. Again, a little bit proud of the side, but not a whole lot. Use enough clips that you're staying in good contact with the side all the way around. as I put on my next strip of kerfing, I'm going to want to make it look like it's a continuous piece as close as I can with the spacing of the saw lines, these kerfs, and come around, and I'm going to mark where the end of the going to cut between the blocks more or less, and then we'll go back and fill it in with a small block later. So I'm going to cut that with a razor knife or X-Acto saw. I finished out putting the kerfing around the top and the bottom of the guitar, and it should be dry now. It's had about an hour on this side, and I'm going to take it out of the mold now for a while. The next job is going to be to put some side support struts in. It's just going to work with a little piece of spruce here and put in some strips along the side to prevent any cracks that might develop from splitting all the way along the side. Different people use different materials for that. Martin typically used like a fabric strip along there, so I think like a silk ribbon, something of that nature, but most independent builders use wooden strips, and that's what we're going to use. There's nothing critical about what you use, I don't think, as long as it'll prevent any cracks in the sides from splitting all the way along the length of the side, which would not be good. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out of the mold while we give us better access for putting in those side struts. So it's kind of starting to look like a guitar here. I'm going to use 4 strips on each side of the guitar, and we'll put one about right here and mark it on the kerfing, and come along to here and up here near the waist, and one down about right here. I'd like for those to be the same on both sides of both halves of the guitar. So the easiest way to do that is just to count the kerfing blocks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 from that. And I think you see the idea. So I'm going to proceed with that on my own. I've got a piece of spruce here I think was probably had been cut off the top of another guitar when I was making it. But I thinned it down on my thickness sander. It's about 3 millimeters thick, about 8 millimeters wide. It's not really critical. And what I'm going to do is measure the height between the kerfing for each location and cut according to that. The way I do that is take my calipers. Again, I like working in millimeters for most operations. And the first brace, first location I marked for brace is right here. I'm just going to transfer that over to my strip of wood. I want these to fit in there nice and pretty, of course. And so I'm going to probably cut them just a little bit long, and then I'll actually use the disc sander to get them the exact length so they fit tight between the kerfing and look nice. Now I'm going to take some sandpaper and round over the front two edges of it just to make it look pretty. These are something that the player will see looking down in the guitar, so he's sitting there looking in the sound hole while he's playing. You want it to look pretty. Okay, I marked off these little strips to cut. I'm going to go to the disc sander and sand them to length to go into the slots. I've got them numbered so I know where they go. Sand these struts. I got just a marble tile picked up at Lowe's for $3 or $4. It really comes in handy for a lot of things. But I'm just hold a piece of sandpaper down on the tile and kind of round the edges over. And just clean them up a little bit, make them look nice and uniform. Well, we've pretty much finished up with the rim at this point. I finished gluing in the struts in the side. So there you go. I'm going to do a little cleanup with a utility knife, any glue that's still on the sides from doing the struts in. And then we will turn our attention to the back of the guitar. We've got to join the two halves of the back and start putting braces on it. And this looks pretty clean. So there you have it.